Hello, and welcome back to another War Thunder video, where today's video is going to be about the A-36 Apache. The A-36 Apache is a Rank 2 American attacker at a battle rating of 3.0, and in today's video I'm going to talk about the history of this aircraft and how it performs in War Thunder. So let's begin with the history. The A-36 Apache was the ground attack variant of the earlier version of the P-51 Mustang, which is the Mustang 1. The first Mustangs were being produced for the Royal Air Force, and the North American Aviation wanted to get the US AAF some Mustangs since they performed quite well in the RAF. There were no fighter contracts, so they had to modify the P-51 in order to make it a dive bomber since there were attacker contracts. And it saw service in northern Africa at first, and then it was used more excessively in Sicily. It performed well in ground attacking, but it also performed quite well in dogfights, and it was liked by most of the pilots who flew it, but that's usually what you expect. In Europe, it started to face more casualties because it fought in places where there were a lot of enemies, and it sort of cleared out the way for the ground units and attacked enemy guns. And it was later replaced by aircraft such as the P-40 Warhawk and the P-47 Thunderbolt, but it fought the Japanese as well, but it was outclassed by the Ki-43, and then it was only produced in small numbers. So one interesting fact about the Apache is it featured 2 dive brakes on each wing, since it was a dive bomber and it had bombs. So in game, the Apache is a very powerful aircraft in terms of weaponry. It has 50 cals, which is 12.7 millimeter machine guns. There are 2 on each wing and 2 in the middle of the aircraft on the fuselage, right under the nose. And it can also have 2 extra machine guns on each wing. As you can see, I have the gun pods, and that's a lot of 50 cal. That's 10 50 cals on a 3.0 aircraft. And the first Mustang that's at battle rating 3.7, it has 4 Hispanos, which we all know Hispanos. So you can see I just annihilated the MiG-3 with my 10 50 cals, and this plane is able to annihilate anything that it comes in contact with because the guns are so powerful and they absolutely tear up your opponents. It also gets an attacker spawn, and it suffers a bit with climbing. I'd say that's one of the biggest issues with this aircraft. It can't climb to very high altitudes, but I'm fighting the Soviets, so in this replay I was fighting the Soviets, so they perform best at low altitude, so they're not going to go very high at all. So as you could see, all of the Soviet aircraft are at low altitude. I've only faced the MiG-3, and there was another aircraft that just flew by me. So I play this aircraft as more as an energy fighter. I try to dive on my opponents and then try to regain my energy. But like I said, this plane is not the best climber, and you have to watch out for that a little bit. But it can do a lot of damage with its 50 cals. I have not really fought bombers yet with it, but I know from my experience with fighting the IL-2s that they get annihilated by these 50 cals, as you will see in a second with this IL-2 that's right in front of me. So you could see that I'm just trying to put a couple of shots into my enemies, but you could see this IL-2 was low on energy. He wasn't going to live long if he was attacked. You could see how quickly I just ripped him up with these 50 cals, and that's my second kill. This plane is good. It can, like historically, it's a pretty good dogfighter. It's not the best, I would say, but it can dogfight pretty well if you keep your energy. You should not. If you do not keep your energy, you're going to end up like that IL-2 that I just destroyed. Because this plane does not do good when it's low on energy, and it also gets these gun pods, which you don't have to use, but I think it's a better idea to use them than to not use them, since it's 1050 cals. That's a lot. But you should always try to keep your energy, because these gun pods, they can slow you down a bit. And even without the gun pods, this is not the most maneuverable aircraft. And you can see all of these Soviet planes, they're all so low on energy that I'm just picking them off one by one. And sometimes I'm just taking a couple down. You can see I light them on fire. There's another kill. And that's my fourth one. And there's two more, so I might get my ace. So you could see how good this aircraft performs with its weaponry rise. And there's my fifth kill. So there's the battle. Quick ace. Lots of annihilation. So that's pretty much going to be it. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Up next are the post-game stats. And I'll see you in the next video.